You help me, like, just tell them, hey, there's a guy that I know that does interviews. He's pretty good at it, you know. Cool. Thanks. Thank you, team. Thank you so much for that. Sincerely.
Well, listen,
I appreciate it.
Let's do it now.
What? Do it now?
I mean, if I can catch him.
Oh, okay.
I'll let him know that you can reach out to him.
Okay, yeah, most definitely. Well, you guys, this is happening live. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know how to react. This video was sponsored by the Wingstop located in DeSoto, Texas at 209 East Pleasant Run Road. Wingstop. Try the wings everyone craves. And thank you again to the owner of that Wingstop, Calvin Golden. What's good, great people? I am Ezel Moon, and I have a special guest in the building today, State Senator Royce West. He's also my son's uncle. How you doing today?
There we go.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I know we are at a Wingstop in DeSoto, Texas, supporting another black-owned business. I wanted to go ahead and jump immediately into the questions that I have for you, because I know you are a man whose time is being used for the people, and I love what I've seen you do. I've seen you be out in the community protesting as well. So thank you so much for that. So like I said, I'm not going to cut you down.
But before you go there, I want to thank you for what you're doing. Not only am I, in order for you to see me out there with some of the protesters, you had to be out there yourself. I was part of the leadership team, and I appreciate you doing that. Appreciate what you're doing right here. That's the very reason I'm here to support you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you, sincerely. So you were originally born in Annapolis, Maryland.
Right.
All right, and but you came down to Dallas, Texas.
Yep. When I was in the 6th grade, we moved to Dallas, Texas, and I've been there pretty much ever since.
Okay.
Except college.
Oh yeah, because you were at the University of Texas at Arlington, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exactly right.
And U of H, though.
And U of H. Right.
Okay. So, are there any standout memories from your childhood that really just define for you the difficulty of being a black man in America?
You know, it wasn't until I lived in Annapolis, Maryland. Right. And then we moved to Germany. Okay. And so I kind of lived in a secure environment all the way until I got back to Dallas. It was then that I began to understand issues concerning racism, because there was a tale of two cities, one north and one south. And we were living in the southern part of it. And so there was a lot of issues, I put it like that went with that.
Of course. Now, you've been a Senate member since 1993.
Since 93, correct.
Man, now, you know, I was in diapers. They hadn't discovered that I was blind yet. I'm serious. I was literally like, we had, the big fatback TV screens back then. I was one of the kids that was like looking like all on the screens and everything because I couldn't see. Yeah. So this is you've been a senator since then for me.
Wow.
What has been some of the greatest changes that you feel you have made for the African American community?
I think that when I begin to look at some of the things that we've done in terms of the African American community, specifically, I would just say the African American community. I'd say my senatorial district, which is probably 40-something% Hispanic and 45-46% African American. Okay? And when you begin to look at some of the things that we've done in terms of criminal justice, I was the person that authored the body camera bill, brought that on, the dash camera bill, racial profiling, worked on the hate crimes bill, worked on legislation to get money to police officers so they can get vests, and also victim witnesses. Worked on those issues also. So in terms of education, the University of North Texas at Dallas, I was the author and brought that here, and also the law school, and developed other schools around the entire state of Texas. And then we have what we call the Dr. M.J. Conrad program, where we provided over 3,000 internship opportunities to the college students right here in the district. Some of them are now elected officials and appointed, and some of them are big-time lawyers.
Yes, sir.
I mean, real big-time lawyers.
Give me one.
Kelly Witherspoon, hey, Kevin Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Witherspoon, both of them are big-time lawyers.
Mad respect. You think they'll come on here for an interview?
You'd have to ask them.
I'll have to ask them. Okay, I'll ask. I'll reach out. Thank you for that, though. So, they say that the modern Democratic Party emphasizes egalitarianism, social equality, protecting the environment, and strengthening the social safety net through liberalism. Is this accurate to your platform, and why?
No.
No?
I mean, the reality is that am I progressive? Yes, I am progressive on a multitude of the issues that you mentioned. And the fact is that we've got to make certain that we provide a social net, if you will, for people that are down on their luck. That we've got to give them a hand up to make certain they can get back on the pathway. We've got to make certain that we also deal with issues of reform in this particular country, and that people have an opportunity to be able to go to school and also be able to get a job and basically take advantage of the American dream. That's what we've got to be able to do. Okay? And so, again, I know the different categories that you just mentioned, and I think the Democrats represent people who want to make certain that everyone is recognized for what they do, and that we are, in fact, our brother's keeper.
Makes sense.
And sister.
Makes sense. Now, I have noticed that you've landed endorsements from a wide array of people within the Latinx community, and even so far as the mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner. What is it about you that you feel resonates with voters?
Well, I think that when you begin to look at, you got to understand, I've been a state senator now. This is my 27th year.
Yes, sir.
So I have a record.
Yes, sir.
And I've got a record of getting things done. Okay. And so the question is whether people want someone that has a record of getting things done, or someone that is a newbie. Okay. That's what it comes down to. And I'm able to bring people together. Just like you said, the Latinx community is endorsing it. The African American community is endorsing it. The University Democrats, the teachers in this state are all endorsing Royce West. So when you begin to think about the people that were in the primary race, there was 12 of us. Okay, they're endorsing me, not my opponent. Okay, and so experience, being able to bring people together, and I'm the only true Democrat in this race. I've been involved in the Democratic Party many years. I helped turn Dallas County blue. Okay. Now Dallas County is dark blue, okay? And people are getting opportunities to run for different offices.
Most definitely. Now, speaking of turning Dallas County blue, Richard Salami from The Guardian wrote last year, Texas led the U.S. South in a statistic closing down the most polling stations, making it more difficult for people to vote and arguably benefiting Republicans. A report by civil rights group, the Leadership Conference Education Fund, found that 750 polls had been closed statewide since 2012. Senator, how are we supposed to vote when there are so few places to go? And what can you do about the issue of voter suppression?
Well, in terms of, I agree with the report. And we know that as we do this podcast right now, right, that there's voting going on in Kentucky, and we know what happened in Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And so we've got to make certain we do everything in our power to keep it from happening here in Texas. Now, people don't need to wait until election day, first of all, to vote. Okay? And the great thing that we were able to get done in Texas, they're voting centers now. So you don't have to go to a particular precinct any longer. You can go to a voting center and vote. Okay? And so I want to make certain that people get out. You need to do early voting. Don't wait till the last minute. Go out to some of these voting locations, voting centers, and cast your vote. There'll be shorter lines, won't be as many people. You'll be able to make certain that you observe the COVID guidelines in terms of social distancing and make sure you wear your mask. That's what needs to happen, because you know that in November, it's going to be altogether something different. Hopefully we'll have a decision by the Supreme Court by that time concerning voting by mail. And so hopefully we'll be able to do that, but if not, we're going to have to make sure we still take advantage of early voting in order to make certain that your vote does in fact count.
Understood. Now, back in February, you stated on an interview with WFA Channel 8 that in 6 years, when you come back, you want to be measured on whether or not you did anything to get healthcare solved in this country, and whether or not you were able to get a livable minimum wage of $15 an hour. Now, I know it's only been a couple of months, but can you speak to the work that you've started to do in regards to those issues?
Well, I haven't done any issues, hadn't done anything in the state of Texas, but as it relates to the $15 minimum wage, because again, you've got to make certain we have the votes in order to get things done. Have we been advocating it? Yes. Have we been able to get a hearing? No, because Republicans control the Senate, all right? In terms of health care, we have been trying to get the Republicans to expand Medicaid. Okay? And every opportunity that I get on the finance committee, I'm trying to make certain I put another class of people in that are eligible for Medicaid. I mean, there's some horrible, horrible outcomes. You take a woman who has a baby and they're on Medicaid, they only have 6 weeks after they have the baby before they no longer are able to get that type of service. There's a lot that needs to be done. The only way we get it done is put people in office that think like you and I, and we'll make it a priority in terms of funding it and passing laws to make certain people can take advantage of those opportunities.
Yes, sir. I can't lie. I do remember when your nephew, when he was born, Michael, by the way. Yeah. when your nephew was born, I do remember us rushing out of the hospital because we didn't want to incur any more costs. Because I myself I teach, and so I can only take a certain amount of days. Right. And so his mother, she was taking maternity leave from her job. So anything that you can do in that field, I greatly appreciate it, sincerely.
It is a problem.
Yes. So now, the goal of this show is philanthropy, identifying a charity you care about and donating to it, and inspiring people who look up to you to donate as well. What charity are we going to be donating to today, and why is the issue it faces so important to you?
Well, I'd like for you to I had a son that died about 9 years ago by the name of Royce West. We set up a scholarship in his honor at the UNT Dallas. And so I'd like for you to contribute to the Royce West Scholarship at the University of North Texas at Dallas. And the reason is because he really, really cared about education, but because of his conditions, he was never able to complete college. And so we wanted to make certain that over the years we provided scholarships to persons who needed those resources to complete their education.
Most definitely. So we'll definitely be doing that. Before we close out, I always want to make sure that words of wisdom, any nuggets that you have, you can share it with the next generation. So what words of wisdom would you have for those that are coming up in your footsteps, behind you?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story, and I want you to listen to it. There was this man that was in a house, and there was a flood that was coming. So the weather forecaster told him that it was a flood coming, right? And then his neighbor, the water started coming up, and the neighbor came over with a boat. He said, "Get in the boat." He said, "I'm not worried about it. God's going to save me." Okay? And the water kept rising. So he got on top of the roof. And so a helicopter with a rope came and said, "Get on the rope. We'll pull you up." He said, "I'm not worried about it. God's going to save me." Okay? He dies. He goes to heaven. And he says, "God, I was good and faithful. How come you didn't save me?" He said, "I sent you the tools to save yourself." All right? We have the tools that will allow us to save ourselves. Okay? We just got to use the tools that we have. And so for the next generation, make certain that you recognize that the tools, many of them are already here. The power to change things by voting. If you're in Texas, as an example, recognize that Texas has more African Americans than any other state in this country. Yet still we only have 1.8 of us that are registered to vote. That's a tool that we have to be able to use. We got to be able to work together. That's another tool. Setting aside petty differences and making certain we come together, define what consensus is and priorities are, and work towards making certain we put those priorities in place. Making certain that you get in a pipeline of whatever you want to be. I mean, if you want to be in politics, make certain you reach out to me or other elected officials. Can't get everybody in, but if you're willing to do the work that's necessary, you can get the exposure that you need. So make sure we use the tools that we've been provided in order to effectuate change.
Senator West, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate this. Rude to the Mu Beta Bros. I got one of the greats. So wait, but before you go though, is there anybody that you would recommend for an interview? Anyone that you would recommend that I should reach out to?
Why don't you reach out to the mayor of the city?
The mayor of the city? You know what? He hasn't. I've tried, but I've only like done it like on Twitter and you know and Instagram. But I'm gonna shoot him an email. John Wiley Price is okay. Will you help me like just tell him, hey, there's a guy that I know that does interviews. He's pretty good at it. You know. Oh, thanks. Thank you, team. Thank you so much for that. Sincerely, I appreciate it.
Let's do it now.
What? Do it now?
I mean, if I can catch him.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'll let him know that you can reach out to him.
okay, yeah, most definitely. Well, you guys, this is happening live. Thank you. Yeah. I don't know how to react. Oh, he's really calling me. Oh, snap.
This is this commission available.
Oh, he really called him.
Okay.
He called him.
Put water in there. You know Harrison Blair, don't you? You know he's the president of the Black Chamber. You know that, don't you?
Yes. Yes.
Harrison is right.
I know. That's the thing though. I haven't gotten a chance to cause I go through this list. I make a list every day of like the people that I'm gonna reach out to, and then I try to contact them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You know, say something in the comments, and then just try to get them their attention to the. That's.
Just let me have high C.
They got flavors. Berry, whichever berry one.
Yeah, tell them to give me a call back. I just I got a favor that I need from him.
Well, I've made it to a point in life where a senator will do me a favor.
Thanks. Bye. All right, he's not picking up right now.
I got you, sir.
But Roger Case, your telephone number and all that stuff. Okay, good. I'll tell him that you're going to call him.
Okay.
So we can set up something. Okay.
Thank you so much, sincerely, for that. I appreciate that, dog. You really helping me make my dreams come true.
But I mean, I thought friendship
is essential to the soul.
Right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Are we finished?
Yeah, we good, dog. Thank you again for your time.